Greetings and welcome back to smartwatchtics.com. It's been a while since we've had a look at a LOKMAT Android smartwatch. We've got two to show you. Today's review is going to be about a rectangular or square one, and then pretty much identical innards and outards except a round screen we'll be reviewing next. Inside the box, we've got what's called the APPLLP4 Max. And it's a doozy. It's one of their best sellers. It's coming off really, really good in the marketplace. It has a couple of buttons on the side. That's one of their fancy watch faces in here. Two cameras, here and here. Two buttons, and a place to put a SIM card, because this is a SIM-capable phone. Smartwatch phone, that's why they call it that. Now, you have a couple of configurations. Here's from their AliExpress Direct LOKMAT official store. The, I think it's a 2 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte unit. Is running around $69, and check below for a coupon discount. We should have something set up for you. They also have it in a lot higher configuration, which is what we're reviewing today, and it's what I really recommend. It's for an Android watch, you need at least 3 to 4 gigabytes of RAM for smooth control on the watch, and 64 gigs of storage is pretty darn good, and it's not that much more money. So recommend you either look at the black or the orange in the higher configuration. The links to all of these pages are in the show notes, so just click over. That'll take you to AliExpress. And again, if we have a coupon discount, we'll have it available for you there. Now, and that changes over time. No matter when you're watching, be sure you check that, because they're constantly changing prices on these. The overall specs for this device now are here. We're looking at a Bluetooth 4.2 version, which is really good for connectivity to earbuds and such. The resolution, 320 by 386, and it's a 2.02-inch diagonal square rectangular screen. So it's a good-sized watch. You've got GPS, of course, in it, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, battery capacity of 800 milliamp hours. Two cameras, not that great, but good enough for a watch camera. You've got the side one at 5 megapixels and the front facing for FaceTiming or whatever. I'm not sure FaceTiming on this, but you know what I mean. 2 megabits. Yeah, the 2 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte configuration is what's shown in the specs, but we do have the upgraded version as well. We're running Android 8.1. Double checked, all these different languages are supported, and all these different functions are in here in terms of apps. Now, an interesting twist on this, by the way, here's the frequencies for your cellular connectivity. An interesting twist is that these are all separate apps, of course, and they've added a variety of new and different ones to this configuration. So that's going to be fun to take a look at that. Deeper in the box, as we continue with the unboxing, is a box within a box that when you open it up, you can take out some of the goodies. What we have here is the 4-pin charging wire. And yes, folks, I did confirm and have used this. The inner pins are for data transfer when you have a 4-pin configuration. The outer two are always for power. That's the IMEI number, comes on the watch. I've covered it up for you, because I know you don't want to put that on your phone, right? So the 4-pin connector is great. Plug it in your computer, and you can transfer files, apps, the installation, the APKs, directly to the watch. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get the clock skin folder to work for custom watch faces on it. And if any of you guys over at fullandroidwatch.org can figure that one out for us, please post it over there or over here, and we'll let everybody know. Here's how to do the SIM cards. It's a little card on that, and tells you some little troubleshooting things you can get to. Things like cell calling and more advanced features we're not going to be covering in the unboxing. A lot of guys have started complaining these things. I'm getting an hour and a half going over all special apps and features. This is an unboxing, so it's going to be relatively quick. relatively in the scope of things, since it's still pretty complicated. Okay, it says this is English here. There's the other languages. All right, we can leave it like this. The little manual in here looks like this. We will cover other things. If there's enough interest in these watches, cellular connectivity, whether the cameras will work with other apps so you can scan QR codes, all those more advanced things, let me know if you really want to see them in the show notes, and we'll do my best to put it together for you. Okay, this is a different language. Was that it? I think that was it. So we only have just that little part at the top. Okay, it's time to check it out. As I mentioned, we have 2 buttons on the side. Press and hold the Smart button, the top button. Give it a second or two, and it comes up with a logo. Now, I have the audio turned on for the boot up so you can hear it. Normally, I turn it off because I don't really want that happening every time I'm turning it on and off to have it make a bit of a logo sound. It's a long boot up on this one. And part of that, maybe it's trying to see if there's a SIM in it. I don't know. There is no SIM in it right now. Here you go. Take a listen. Yeah, nothing real fancy, but it does have a boot up process. Then it loads it up. And then it definitely wants you to use this as a cell phone because it asks you to insert a SIM card right away. You can bail out of that just by sliding, and it'll load up the current watch face that you're using or the stock one that we've seen on the stick-on that we had here. Beyond that, we just got to go through it. It's got quite a few different configurations in its operating system. This is 8.1, as we mentioned. Swiping down, you get bubbles on the screen wherever you touch the screen. And then you can swipe down again to expand this. You've got your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capability, and I'm not sure what that one is. This is your cellular connectivity, battery, airplane mode is all over here. And then these other things about location services and sound on and off. This is where you can shrink or expand the screen if you need to. A few other nice little icons there, and then up above we've got the brightness control. So you can make it full bright or almost all the way down. For the review, I leave it maybe about right here, maybe even a little lower so we don't wash out the colors. That looks pretty good. Okay, and that's it. Now we're back to getting our bubbles on the screen. When you swipe up, there's nothing. Nothing happens. When you swipe to the right, nothing happens. So we really only have down, to the left, and your buttons. And they're all on the right. Again, this is the SIM card slot here. Swipe over, and we're getting into all of these goodies, which are all of the different apps in here. Now, I wanted to, and I usually do, install a whole bunch of things and show off these watches, but you can look at the other Android watches if you want to see those. Today, I'm showing you all the stock apps with the exception of one that it just drives me nuts because these are not alphabetical. At least they have the names underneath them, but I installed Organized Drawer. And Organized Drawer is an app that you can install even on your phone if you want to. And it really does a nice job of going through and sequencing all of your apps in rows and columns. And they're right there in alphabetical order. Makes it real easy, including some. You see these ones that look like settings that are kind of hidden, like that's a face lock thing. Here's a couple of other settings down here. So you can kind of get access to stuff that you normally don't see. But for right now, I'm going to come back over here to the beginning and walk you through the buttons. You saw that. This one turns it on and off, no matter where it is. This one will take you back and forth, and it'll get you back to the watch face. And long press of the top one will give you shutdown and reboot. And long press of the bottom one will get you your volume control and your ability to modify the sound if you want to. That's pretty nice because sometimes you're kind of stuck and sound is something people will notice. And if you want to get quickly to a place where you can adjust all that, like mute everything, you can do that right here. And all these other features too, which are in the settings, which is where we're going to go first. We're going to slide over. And amongst all of these, we have settings. So we'll start with this. And by the way, we can swipe down and get to settings right there as well. These are the most frequently used ones we just showed you, and then settings can get you into here as well. Now, one of the nice things I like about this watch in particular is the layout. We're able to hit the corners of most of the apps, all of them so far that I've tried, that maybe have a menu there or something. You don't need to play with sizing the screen down and up that much because you can get to everything. Now, in your network and internet is where you have your setup for your router. You can connect to Wi-Fi. Bluetooth is right here. Overall display now, you've got the brightness level. You've got the Smart Island. You can turn this on, and I'm not sure who John is, but maybe those are different people that'll show up on the Smart Island. Anyway, that's the thing, the island that shows up at the top here. And apparently you have the ability to do that on this one. I don't use it, so I'm not sure how that one works. Your sleep time can go from 30 seconds all the way up to 30 minutes. We'll leave it up high for what we're doing today. There's no always on display on this one, so however long you leave it, that's how long it'll be, and then it'll time out. You also have the raise your wrist to see the screen, and it'll affect battery life. And guys, for sure, the display and the brightness of the display does affect your battery life on this one. You don't get a long time. You're good to get a day if you're conservative with it. It's an Android watch, 800 milliamp hour battery, but still, Android eats a lot. We have not found any good ones that can give you, 5 days of battery life. Then you got some advanced things that are part of the display, and this is where you can set the timeout for your raise the wrist to see the time. The palm press screen, you cover it with your palm and it'll turn the screen off. Turning that off means it's not going to be looking for that, and it might improve your battery life, but I haven't tested it. You've got margin shrinkage, okay, that will bring the edges down. Eye protection mode, that makes the watch kind of the beige color. There's a floating window that if you turn that on, see the little dot there, and you touch that little dot, and you get a whole bunch of more things that you can launch and play with here. Really interesting. Haven't played with that much, but that's in here. If you're interested, we'll look at that in a more advanced video. Today, again, we're just going over the features. You can change the font size, you can change the display size, but be careful if you mess around with the display size too much, because you don't want to have it start to show things that have buttons and the buttons don't align with the place you're supposed to touch. Modifying that can be awkward, and the display can act abnormally. So I would recommend leaving it alone. Sound is sound, and there you've got all your different controls. But to give you an idea of how the speaker sounds, I'll crank it up for you here. Touch it a little bit. There you go. Alarms. Almost all the way up. Ring volume. So it's a decent sound. It's not super loud, but it's okay. And again, all these things that you can do that we saw when we brought up that sound part of the settings as well. Audio profiles now. This is kind of taking sound and putting it on steroids, where you can have a setting for general. You can go everything silent, vibration only, or outdoor. That dates way back to early Android, if you remember when they had those kind of profiles available. Well, they're back on here. Storage now, this is where it shows you how much memory you're using, or RAM, storage. 64 gigabytes, you can free up space. It shows you the percentage you have in different categories as well, just like on an Android phone. You can have that storage reduction thing in there too. Then you've got apps and notifications. Here's the recently opened apps. You can see all of them. You can do your permissions and all the advanced stuff that have to do with apps in Android 8.1. The device security lets you lock the screen, and I think you can do that with the face recognition as well. Now it looks like it's just password at this point, so you can password protect it. You've got software upgrade. If there's anything waiting, it will let you know, and it flashes it really quick. Here's the current version of the firmware, I believe, that we're running on this one. You've got location. This is your GPS. You can access that and set everything up. So you've got GPS tracking. You do have Google's Maps on here. You can set it for high accuracy if you want to. And that, of course, that will use a lot more battery. And device only is an option as well. App level permissions, scanning, and then the apps that could be using it are in here. And that's all in the GPS or location areas. Acceleration, that will speed things up, but it's going to be a trade-off with your battery. And you can whitelist certain apps that won't adhere to that if you want to. Then you've got Google, and that's your Google account that you've signed in under. Once you get in, of course, you got to set all that Google stuff up and then update all of the Google apps. This is very Google heavy intensive, so it really is honed to work with the Google Enterprise. You got power savings mode here that you can activate. Parent Assistant in here is available on this watch. That could be something that parents, you might be interested in finally getting your kid a watch, and you can control some of the apps that'll be available once you activate all of that. You have reset options of basically, like you do on your phone, of resetting everything or erasing all data and starting over again. By the way, when you first get it, I highly recommend, before you do anything other than charge it fully, and then come in and erase everything. Let the watch completely restore itself. Sometimes out the door, these legacy operating systems and firmware upgrades and updates, they don't clean them up completely. So wiping everything out and letting it install itself from its baseline is really good. And if you check for a firmware update and you haven't done anything else, update the firmware and then do it again. It just makes for a cleaner, glitch-free operation over time. You have more settings and systems. So in the more settings, you've got your overall battery, tells you the level, screen usage, low power savings, standby. Again, a lot of stuff you can explore to fit what your needs are. You got scheduled power on and off. So if you're going to not sleep with it and just want to turn it off at night, make sure, if you're not charging it, that you don't drain any of the power. You can set a schedule for that. You've got your contacts and messages. And then the disaster warning area is where your call broadcasts would come through on the watch for weather or alerts of some sort. I'm just going to deny for now. And if you have any active alerts, they'll be here for you to see. Again, you probably need to sell a SIM card in here because it works through that network. But it may come over Wi-Fi. I'm not sure for that one. And that is everything in the more settings. And finally, system now. You got the language and keyboard. It's using the Google Gboard keyboard. So you have the voice input. And you have all the things that you can do with that. Date and time you can set, backups, and then about the watch. It's RAM and ROM and version, and it's the APPLLP 4 Max once again. Okay? Does it do developer? We'll find out when we do the advanced video. Okay, that's everything that we've looked at here, and that was in the basic settings. So now the other apps in here, this is your phone. When your SIM is in, you can get in here. You have contacts and everything. You can bring up the keypad. You can do all kinds of basic phone calling. Your calculator is a simple 4-digit calculator with fairly large digit display. And it kept track of the last computation. That's cool. You got a basic calendar. Presume you can install Google Calendar if you're using that, tied to your account. If you're having trouble doing that, a trick is usually to go in and try to disable the stock calendar back so that then the Google Calendar would come in because they have the same name, and sometimes you have a conflict with that. Contacts, albums is for, wow, okay, it's got watch pieces in here now from the clock skin folder that I put in to try to see if it would work with other watch faces. But this is where your picture albums would come in. Messaging, A music player is built into this, and these are all your sound effects. And there they are playing. Give you an idea of how loud it is. Okay. Kind of awkward that all of these, oh no, all of these sounds are part of your music. Stop. Okay. But they are, because I guess it looks through the entire memory to see if there's anything playable and pops it in here in the music player. That's in there. You've got the face unlock. Okay, here's where you would go in and you would set up the unlock for giving face unlock on this, since it does have a forward-facing camera. Come over to the next. You got a stopwatch, Google Maps, super power savings mode. This is the one-click cleanup, and that will clear whatever's been running in the background. This is your clock for alarms and stopwatch and settings like that. That's part of your Android system. Video player, and this is a installed video they put in here that has some music to it. It's a little animal crawling around on a flower. Okay. In, exit, and back. Where are we? We did the video player. Then you've got a flashlight. And it'd be fun if you could put some of these things attached to a button so, you know, a double tap or something could turn on or off the flashlight activity. But I haven't seen that capability in the system yet to be able to program the buttons. There are third-party apps you can buy and install, and we've covered those in other videos earlier. Hope you've subscribed and you watched some of those. Install one of those and try it and see if you can make the back, long tap or double tap, something programmed if you want to, like the flashlight. You got a basic sound recorder in here, and when you start the sound recorder, it just goes around. You can barely see it, but in the gray, you can see the movement of the frequency and whatnot. I can stop it, and we can play it back. Well, that's pausing it. This is stopping it. And then to take a listen to it, we can come over here and run it through. Sound recorder, it just goes around. You can barely see it, but in the gray you can see the movement of the frequency and whatnot. Okay, so it's nice, loud, fairly loud. Definitely something you can use on the fly for a sound recorder. This is your setup for personal information. Oh, I'm 10 years old. Look at that. I thought it looked like it's made to be a kid's watch. You got a parent control in there and children looking watch faces, and you can set everything up for your personal stuff. There's a little apps market in here, and this has some apps. This is different now. You have Google Assistant you can download, Zalo, I don't even know some of these, messaging, Netflix is available, some sort of a game it looks like, Amazon, Tinder, and WhatsApp. Those are now in this apps market. Of course, we always recommend, if there's an app you want, go through Google and install it through the Google Play Store. You have the one-click, get rid of the water in your watch. And I don't know why you need drainage. You can hear it or feel the vibration. This is not a swimmer's watch. This is not waterproof that I can tell. But that app is in here if you just want to use it for whatever. You do have heart rate on here. So when you cover the sensor with your finger, or I recommend putting it on the fleshy part of your hand sometimes, because we're all the same body color here, whereas wrists can be all kinds of different colors and hairy and you name it. If you want a more accurate heart rate, either putting it on your fingertip or pressing it right here is a good idea. And there you go. It's a live heart rate until it takes its final measurement, and it gives you that information. There is no way that I know of to transfer that to the phone to archive it in an app. This is a true standalone smartwatch phone. It doesn't have a pairing app that Bluetooth connects that you can send data back and forth. So keep that in mind. You have style settings. Now, we've been going through all of these. You have themes and styles and overall dial effect. That's where we have the bubbles and stuff and wallpapers in here. A lot of things we could go through in there, but you just customize to your own desire. The dial market. Oh, here we go. Okay. I was looking for the dial market when I was going through the dials. You'll see that in a minute, but they actually have a dial market in here. Wow, interesting. I'm going to grab that cool red one and hit download, and we'll see if that'll actually install. Wow, that was quick. Apply. So hopefully this is going to apply it to the, and it looks like it has, to the watch. I can press and hold, and now that's a new watch face. Yeah, and it's after this last one that was the last of the stock faces. Okay, so although it's not using the clock skin folder that I can tell, it does have a dial market that lets you have access to other dials in here. That's the one we started up with. Now, some of these fun ones here at the beginning, I want to show you, like this one. You have this little thing twirling around, and that actually will launch the camera. And now we have the side camera on, and you can flip that around to the front camera. We'll look at that briefly later. You have the same kind of things, a couple of touch buttons on here, but you also have phone and messaging as well as camera. So they've got some nice watch faces with all these capabilities. Your step count for the day is here, your heart rate is there, and again, phone calling and camera right in the middle. We've seen that one a lot. It's one of the LOKMAT ones they started with years ago when they started doing the Android smartwatches. But I digress. We were, if I recall, here looking at style, right? Which was here. Now we get to the dial market. You have NFC in here, not for doing financial transactions, but unlocking doors and things like that. Here's your step count. You have LinkedIn. Now we're getting into some of the apps that they've added to here. Social media apps. LinkedIn is here. Tumblr is here. X, Twitter, and WhatsApp are in here. And those are all different than what we've typically seen on these watches, these Android watches. But that's nice. You can set up your accounts and do it directly from the watch. Here's the camera, and then the Google stuff. You got Google. Oh, there's a notice came in, I guess. Google Chrome, your overall Play Store. You can launch this, get in here and check your apps, add other apps, whatever you want to do. It's your standard Google Play Store. Gmail, your entire Gmail account is on here. It's got YouTube and some more social media, Pinterest. Here's your files in here. Facebook, Flickr, and TikTok. And those are the stock apps that come with it. Again, I put in organized drawers, so you've got them all alphabetical if you want to. That's available in the Google Play Store directly. Just look for organized drawer. You can put it on anything. Anything else we want to cover? Let's see. Back is back over to here. The more watch faces. The transformer we saw. Here's a compass watch face, it says. And theoretically, it would turn now if we had a compass in it. But we don't. So it's a nice watch face overall. But north is north, so and east is east. It'll just let you know which way is left and right compared to north, I guess. And you've got a digital one here, which is pretty cool. And again, you saw the list of the additional faces that you can add and download, like that one, from the available store. Let's finish up with taking a look at the camera then. You can go through the official app or through one of the watch faces. Here we go. We've got a simulated hand, shall we? And I'm going to take a picture of that. Another one. Okay, then I'm going to go into video. And this is a little video segment of me wiggling my fingers. And that should be enough. And then finally, oh, now it's recording. Okay, first was switching. So here we go, and now we can stop. You saw the time up there. Now I can switch it around, This is my one time to get a cameo appearance on here. Hi everybody, this is a video of me looking at you, and that's enough, definitely enough. And we can switch back to camera and take a quick picture. Hi! Now, let's go back over to the pictures, and there you go. Video, and so forth. Here we go in the albums, and bring up the picture first. A little blurry. Double tap, and I can zoom in. Double tap again, and zoom out. Pinch and zoom does not work. And there's only one level of zoom, but it will zoom at wherever you're holding it, I presume. Oh, interesting. Okay, it looks like it's working. In the center. Huh. Well, you can still move it around. So a double tap in the center will take you in and out. Now, in terms of the audio and video, here's the video.
Hi, everybody. This is a video of me looking at you, and that's enough. Definite.
Okay, that works. And you could hear the sound pretty good, too. Here's the 5 megapixel side camera video.
And then finally, oh, now it's recording. Okay, first was switching. So here we go, and now we can stop.
And I don't think we can double tap on this when it's playing.
And then finally...
No.
Oh, now it's recording.
That's only going to pause it. Then we go to... Oh, and you can go back and forth. Okay. Leave out of here. Back. Press again. There we go. And then the last one was a picture of my hand. Again, a bit blurry. Double tap to zoom in. Oh, it goes in much, much closer. Look at that. Yeah. You can see every little pixel. That's because it's a 5 megapixel image rather than a 2. There's that line. So fairly okay for just basic watch camera capability. Again, it's on the side, not at the top. And when you're wearing it on the side, on your arm, which we haven't shown you yet, one of the things you want to be careful of is your wrist. And I've found that many times if you're walking around and shooting with a camera, you have to have a limp wrist. Otherwise, you'll be shooting into your hand. It's much better when they're on the top, but for this one, it's over here on the right-hand side as well. By the way, you can pick up extra bands in blue or red if you'd like. LOKMAT sent me a couple of these to show you guys. You have the ability to get it in black or orange. The next one you'll see will have the orange band on it. And again, these are exactly the same bands on both watches, so they're fully interchangeable. So all in all, the LOKMAT APPLLP 4 Max, the smartwatch we're reviewing today, I like it. I like the rectangular with the curved corners and the ability to reach all the places that you would in a cell phone on the face. That's nicer than the round watches where you have to condense it and expand it. I wish it had multi-touch on it. I'm not sure about the SIM card setup or a bunch of the other things. We'll look at that in the more advanced video if you guys are interested. And if we get enough traffic on this, it takes a lot of time to put these together. So let's see if we get some views and some interest. And if so, on this one or the round one coming up, the APPLLP 6, I believe that one is, then we'll go into a deeper dive on a lot of the features. And if there are things you'd like me to cover in that deeper review, put them in the comments down below, and I'll try to keep track of that and cover them for you. That's pretty much it for today. It is a sweet little Android smartwatch, about half the price of what they used to be. It says 50% off, $137. With 64 gigabytes of storage, it's going to jump to about $88. But a really nice implementation of Android 8.1 with some good features, a lot of Google stuff, and it's integrated really nicely. So if you do a lot with Google on your phone, this should complement it very well. And in terms of moving things back and forth, again, you can connect it with the wire and do that. Or what I typically do is download Google Drive and just upload and download things back and forth between them, or Dropbox, in which case the things that you put in Dropbox on the watch will automatically appear on your desktop, right? Because Dropbox will copy them right over, and you don't even have to wait for the time delay for that to happen. So many different ways of getting things moved back and forth. 2 cameras, and of course you should be able to do video calling and everything else with it as well. That's it for today, and you can get this, by the way, AliExpress, their LOKMAT's official store. Check the show notes, and we'll have a link for you. See you again soon. Thanks for watching.